All right, we're back with part two of our interview with Pipe Major Richard Parks and leading drummer Gareth McLees of Field Marshal Montgomery. Thanks again, guys, for joining us today. So, the band is reigning world champions. Keith decided to go out, good fortune, that on such a high note as a world champion. Now, on one hand, going out in the heels of winning the worlds is a terrific exit for Keith. And on the other hand, does making such a change in such an important position put more pressure on you as pipe major and the band as a whole?
Well, there's always pressure at the Worlds, Andrew, and it's really how you deal with it. And I suppose as well, the fact that I managed to win number 13 last year was a big milestone in my career. And I think, if you can deal with the pressure of going in with going looking for that big title, there'd be no more pressure than that. No matter what happens, there'll not be any more pressure than that. In fact, if anything, there might be slightly less pressure on the band. The fact that we managed to get that number 13 last year. So hopefully, we'll be fine. Pressure is there all the time, and it's about dealing with that pressure, and hopefully we'll be able to do that.
Yeah, and it seems like, Gareth, you're you've definitely had your share of playing under pressure and delivering. You look at the world solo drumming results over the last while, and lots of solid stuff there for that kind of example under a pressure cooker. But what about the material, Gareth? Will you be rescoring a lot of the existing material or continuing to play Keith Orr's scores? And on that note, how would you describe your personal your scoring style, your style to creating new music?
I'm saying my style is very different to Keith's. There will be some material staying, just with a concert and stuff coming up, and just basically to give myself as much ease into such a big job, just to let that ease as much as possible, especially for the guys. But gradually, I will be introducing all aspects of scores and music will be coming from my interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, exactly sort of what Richard was saying. Working with Keith, I mean, I would say any drummer will tell you the same. It's just literally listening to the music. Every drummer will have their different interpretations of expression stuff that they would like to point out here and there and whatever, coming from that style and background for each individual drummer. But yeah, just very similar. Just literally listening to the melodic lines and constant, literally, until I could nearly hum them myself in my sleep, to just make sure, because the ideas constantly change. I think drummers, we have that freedom, where the pipers obviously, you have the melody, and you have this that sort of realm, the boundary is there, where drummers, we have a little bit more freedom to put the rhythmic feel and whatever else that we're looking for to that. So yeah, sometimes the first idea I come up with, it's like anything, first idea is more than likely going to be the best. The more I overthink things, sometimes it becomes worse. But yeah, just coming from the same sort of same approach, because that's what I would naturally do anyway. I'm not trying to emulate. I think it's just a standard thing that we need to do as drummers, just to literally just constantly over and over, and then we just hopefully can put good quality musical material to the piping itself.
Yeah, definitely. I know that the pipe band world is looking forward to hearing what you come out with. And maybe, Richard, on that note, a couple of things. Are we to expect a lot of new material from Field Marshal this year in terms of medley content and march straight and reel for that matter? Or will you be kind of turning over things to make it a little easier, as Gareth kind of pointed to? And then also on that note, you know, the overall sound of Field Marshal, will it be substantially different, do you think?
In terms of material, we obviously had to learn the 4-part MSR this year, so obviously it'll be Gareth scores for that. Our other MSR will be a combination of our previous MSRs, and our medleys are going to remain the same this year because they were both new medleys for last season. So we did a lot of learning of material for the medleys for last year, and one of our medleys I think only played possibly twice. So, you know, there's a bit more mileage in those medleys for this season, the season ahead. So looking forward to going forward with a new 4-part MSR and the remaining material we have played before. In terms of the sound, previously I've had 3 lead drummers in the band, and I think obviously the lead drummer, he needs to put his own stamp on the band, and Gareth will do that. But I think the band will sound subtly different. It'll not be totally different. It'll still be the same FM, and it'll be a subtly different sound when Gareth manages to stamp his authority on the core.
Yeah, good stuff. And that's a really good point about the march to spades and reels. You know, it'll be interesting to see what bands do with those 4-parters. Yeah, kind of a nice tweak on things. And maybe stay with you, Richard. You know, maybe talk a little bit about Keith Orr. You know, and what he brought to Field Marshal Montgomery over his 2 decades with the band and all that success, and what he brought to the pipe band world in general.
Yeah, well, I mean, Keith spent 20 years in the band, and his results over those 20 years are second to none. I mean, you know, his records out there for all to see, and I think he should have legendary status at the end of the day. You know, it's a word that's used quite often, but I think he certainly deserves to be called a legend in pipe band drumming, because our record together was unbelievable. If you look at, you know, we won, I think, the champions 13 times in those 20 years. So that's, you know, quite a, you know, that's over 50%. We were winning the champions. That's just an unbelievable record. And, you know, we had a great partnership, and hopefully now we'll move on with Gareth, and we're all excited to see what we can do there. And we're looking forward to moving forward and finding where we go with Gareth in charge.
Yeah, it's exciting year ahead for the pipe band world, and especially for Field Marshal Montgomery. All right, Gareth, we'll give you the last word as we wrap up here. If you could sum up this opportunity to be lead drummer of Field Marshal Montgomery in just a few words, what would that be?
It's quite hard to put into words, literally. The honor, a huge family history in the band, and just the absolute honor and privilege to be given this opportunity. And just a note on Keith: if it wasn't for what I was able to learn from Keith and what he gave to me, I wouldn't be able to do and take on the position I am now able to do. So I think that says it all, and I totally agree with Richard, legendary status. But yeah, it's an absolute honor.
Well, that's really well said, and puts a nice wrap on our chat, which we really appreciate once again. So Pipe Major Richard Parks, leading drummer Gareth McLees, Field Marshal Montgomery, looking forward to the 2023 season, and only the best of luck to you and the band.
Thanks very much, Andrew.
Thank you.